Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy. Welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a lot more silly season news, a lot of Daytona 500 open entries we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about contract negotiations, drivers doing SRX stuff, and more, so make sure you guys stay tuned. This is episode 161 of us just talking just like this. We have a few vlogs as well, but this is the 161st video of us talking like this. It's kind of crazy that we've come this far. So if you guys are new to the channel, just make sure you subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We've been on a roll with the views recently, so we appreciate you guys for that. But let's go ahead and get started. Matthew, my friend and co-host, is joining me as always. So Matthew, how's it feel to be back and talk about arguably just as much news as we had last week?
Yep, this whole week has been flooded with different types of news coming out of NASCAR this week, once again. And of course, including today, in the past couple of days, it's been NASCAR Media Day. We've been seeing a lot of drivers with their new fire suits on for the year, like Kyle Busch, of course. Ross Chastain had a nice looking fire suit. Trying to think of anyone else that standed out. Oh yeah, Tyler Reddick in a Monster Energy fire suit, which was kind of shocking to be honest. I didn't think Tyler Reddick and Monster Energy were together, but apparently so.
All right, so let's go ahead and hop into all of this stuff. First of all, we have two new Daytona 500 entries as of this week. The first being Travis Pastrana. He is back in NASCAR. He's going to be doing the Daytona 500 with 2311 Racing. You guys don't remember, he did a full season in Xfinity for Roush driving the number 60 car. I believe it was 2013, I'm pretty sure. So great to have him back in NASCAR. He's a very big name. Hopefully that attracts some audience, especially since he's running with 2311, a very competitive team. I mean, Roush back in 2013 was okay in Xfinity, but 2311, very good, very cut team. So especially at Daytona, Bubba's very good at Daytona, so maybe he can shed some light with Travis Pastrana, help him out. So very excited to see Travis Pastrana back in a NASCAR car. And Denny said that he wanted to get this third team started because Kurt Busch wants to do a few more races as well. I don't know his status on being back from injury or not. He's probably not ready to come back just yet, but that's what Denny Hamlin said. He said Kurt wants to run a few more races this year, so that's why he wants to get this third team started. I also saw that they're going to break ground on their brand new facility this year at some point as well to continue to grow that program. So great to see 2311 thriving, adding a third car, obviously part-time, but good to see him at least start that journey. Shows that they're interested in having a full-time third car in the future, more than likely. So speaking, I also didn't say the other Daytona 500 new entry, Chandler Smith. He's going to be attempting the Daytona 500 with Colleague Racing, driving the number 13 car. So Colleague will have another car in the Daytona 500 as well. Chandler Smith is also going to run a few other races. I think he's going to run Richmond, the All-Star race, and one or two other races I can't think of off the top of my head, but Chandler Smith, he's going to attempt to make the Daytona 500 as well. So on top of those two drivers, we already have Jimmy Johnson, of course, trying to make the Daytona 500, Zane Smith with Front Row, and Austin Hill with Beard Motorsports. So those are the five open entries for right now. The Money Team, Hesenberg, and NY Racing, they are to be determined. I know Elio Castroneves, he was talking, about a deal with the main guy at SRX since he won a race. He was going to get a Daytona 500 ride. That has yet to be determined as well. So maybe 1, 2, 3 more open entries, but those are five very stacked guys. And one of those five isn't going to make it if it's just those five, because there's four open entries, 2 per duel. So you got Jimmy Johnson, Travis Pastrana, Chandler Smith, Zane Smith, and Austin Hill, all trying to make the Daytona 500. So the duels going to be very exciting this year. Going to have to make sure to watch those on Thursday night. Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin, they are in the middle of contract negotiations right now among sponsorship and all of that stuff. Denny Hamlin, it's been reported that FedEx is cutting their spending and all of that kind of stuff, and there's some concern because Denny Hamlin and FedEx haven't re-signed yet, and we just saw what happened with Kyle Busch last year. I think everybody's kind of still in shock that all happened, so everybody's like, oh no, is it going to happen again? And honestly, I don't really think it's going to happen. I feel like Denny and FedEx, they're gonna make a deal happen. We saw this past year they didn't sponsor all of his cars. Coca-Cola came in for a race. There's like a Anticremuta whatever sponsor that he ran at Kansas. So there are a few more sponsors that are sponsoring him throughout the year. But I do think that they make something happen with FedEx. And if something doesn't happen with FedEx, I think Denny would go over to 2311 and just field his own car for next year. But I have a feeling I don't think JGR is gonna mess this one up, especially since Denny Hamlin is partnering with Toyota, has his own team, and all that kind of stuff. Alex Bowman, on the other hand, I'm not sure. So I feel like Ally, I feel like they're gonna stay. I just don't know if Alex Bowman is gonna stay. Alex Bowman might get moved over for Noah Gragson. I'm honestly not sure. I'm kind of 50-50. I'm kind of a toss-up right now. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Noah Gragson definitely should go. Like, him going to Hendrick would be better for him, obviously, and probably better for Hendrick Motorsports. I don't know. It depends on how Alex Bowman does this year, but he's been known to kind of be the Hendrick car that is the least consistent. I mean, yeah, I know he had 4 wins in 2020, but like the consistency was not there. So I don't know. I'm kind of a toss up either way, Alex Bowman or Noah Gragson. I think we're just gonna have to see how this year goes and see if Noah Gragson wants to stay with Petty GMS or not Petty GMS, Legacy Motor Club, and if Alex Bowman and Hendrick extend one more year or something like that. I'm not sure. So I think that could go either way there. So those are 2 main contract negotiations going on right now. And SRX, three NASCAR drivers will be participating as of, well, actually Chase Elliott, I think he'll be in there too for at least one race. But it was announced Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Clint Bowyer are all going to do at least one SRX race this year. So I think Clint Bowyer is doing 1, Harvick is doing 1 or 2, and Kyle Busch I think is doing 2. So good to see the SRX attracting more NASCAR drivers. The tracks they're going to be at this year is Stafford, which they've been at I think every year so far. Thunder Road, Motor Mile. I think Motor Mile is in Virginia actually, but it's like all the way on the western side of the state. So I don't think we're going to go all the way over there for a SRX race, but they will be in Virginia, which is pretty cool. They should go to Langley, honestly. That would be pretty cool to have SRX go to Langley. I'd definitely go to that. Berlin, Eldora, and Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil, if I'm, in Indiana, I might have to go to the Lucas Oil. It's, in August, so I don't know. I might have to go to that if I'm up there. But those are all the tracks. This guy over here said, he's like, oh, nobody's going to watch the SRX this year. But I think people are going to watch now that Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Clinton Bowyer, Chase Elliott, he's doing it again this year. So I think SRX, I think they might see an increase in views this year, especially now that they're on ESPN as well. And I think it's Thursday night now, so it's not on the weekend conflicting with Xfinity races or anything else like that. It's got its own day during the week at night. So I think SRX, they're going to have a great year this year. I'm definitely going to try and watch as many races as I can. And finally, the last piece of news is regarding Landon Castle. He is going to only run half of the schedule with Colleague Racing in the Xfinity Series this year with the number 10 car, just due to his lack of sponsorship that he's going to bring this year. I guess he had a lot of things fall through, so he's only going to run half of the races. And this could be an opportunity for some Chevy Cup drivers to come over to Colleague and race the number 10 car. They have a partnership with RCR, so Kyle Busch probably not going to come back, but Austin Dillon, maybe he'll run a race or two. Maybe AJ Allmendinger will run a couple races in the 10 car. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of news. Once again, I am out of breath. That was a lot. But Matthew, it's your turn to go ahead and talk about all this stuff that has come out over the past week or so. So how do you feel about all this news?
All right, so that's a lot of news to go over. I'll go ahead and start off with the Daytona 500 entries, the new ones that just came out, with Travis Pastrana going to 2311, which was an absolutely shocking move. I did not see this one coming. And here's the little a quick rant that I have is these journalists here. I'm getting sick and tired of these journalists constantly having to spoil the surprise like a whole week in advance when they tease something. Like, come on, can we just have a surprise here? But nobody's journalists got to leak it out like a week in advance, and next you know, the surprise gets spoiled. Basically, you already know what's gonna happen. So that's my quick rant. I know the journalists are just doing their job, but come on, just if you know something about it, just keep it to yourself until the announcement day is. What?
So really quick, I think the only real shocking piece of news has come out probably in the past like 3 to 5 years was when Trackhouse bought out Chip Ganassi. Like that came literally like nobody reported that at all. That just boom happened. Like I don't think anything else really has come close to
Or
that. I think
when
that's the only
Tyler
thing that's like
Reddick
completely taken
joined
everybody.
2311 for 2024, that was not leaked at all. That was a total shock. As Denny
That's
Hamlin
true. And
did
like
a good
he
job of making sure those nosy journalists don't sniff their noses and where they shouldn't be at. So that's just my
and the way they did that was hilarious too, because he was just on a Zoom call, and then Tyler Reddick just joins it. He's like, "Hey guys," but anyways, yeah.
okay. So besides that, I'm happy for Travis Pastrana getting this opportunity. I hope he's able to make it to 500. I think he has a really good shot because it's 2311 Racing and it's a Toyota, so they're going to put a lot of support in it. And I think this car could easily time its way in the 500 in qualifying. So it'll be the number 67 car, Black Rifle Coffee, as the sponsor. So that's really cool to see. And yeah, I'm happy for Travis Pastrana. That was a total surprise. Now for Chandler Smith, this was surprising as well. Their colleague racing was teasing of a third car being the number 13 car, and I think everyone was thinking it was either going to be Daniel Hemrick or maybe Landon Castle. Now we know what happened to Castle, but people mainly thought it was going to be Daniel Hemrick since he did make a start last year in the 500 for the Cup Series, but it was Chandler Smith. And I'm really happy for Chandler Smith getting this opportunity. He is still very young, and I just don't rush him to the Cup Series. But it's okay for him to start, getting familiar with this next gen car, since the next gen car and the Xfinity car are two different vehicles now compared to how it was like a few years ago. So I'm very happy for Chandler Smith, and I think he also has a good shot at getting his way in the 500 by time, because calling racing is normally, from what I've seen in the past, they're fast in qualifying. Like Daniel Hemrick was on the top of the leaderboard for a long time last year, so we'll see. Um, so that makes it Jimmy Johnson, Travis Pastrana, Chandler Smith, Austin Hill. That's four. I know they confirmed Shane Smith to the 500, but we haven't heard anything since. Like, we don't know what number he's running. We don't know what sponsor. We haven't heard anything since when he won the championship. So, I mean, I feel like it's going to happen, but we haven't heard much. So I'm just going to leave it on the air, leave it on air for a second. The money team, I think that's a big possibility for either Cascarala or Haley or Castroneves. Now, Project 91, Justin Marks did confirm that that car would not be in the 500, which is surprising to me because, I mean, the Project 91 is a always on the big news in NASCAR. It would be perfect to bring that car out to the biggest race of the year, but I guess he only just wanted to still focus on road courses, so I guess it's fine. Um, there's also MBM that ran two cars last year, and both of those did not make it to the 500. So we don't know if NBM's coming back or not. So yeah, that's so far the current situation with the roster for the 500. Let's see. Oh yeah, the contract situation with Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman. I'm not concerned with Denny Hamlin. I think that's gonna be all taken care of. But as for Alex Bowman, I'd be concerned. And the reason why is I just feel like Rick Hendrick is sold on Noah Gragson. I think he desperately wants Noah Gragson in Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, Noah Gragson has the talent. I mean, you saw him last year winning 8 or 9 races last year or something like that. I think it was 8. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think Rick Hendrick really wants Noah Gragson in Hendrick Motorsports, and unfortunately, I just feel like if they were sold on Alex Bowman, they would have re-signed him because all 3 other Hendrick cars were all re-signed last year, like all around the same time, except Alex Bowman. So I just feel like if they were sold on Bowman, they would have re-signed him by now. So that's just my opinion. I just say if I'm Alex Bowman, I'll be very concerned right now. And as for the XRS, I'm excited that Kyle Busch is going to be in 2 races, including Moto Mile. Which Jimmy, we need to go to that because that's in Virginia. And I don't care how far away it is, we're going to that. And I don't have no idea what you're talking about. Me saying no one watches. I never said that. Okay, let me just emphasize here. I mean, I know they just re-signed I know they just signed with ESPN, but CBS basically said, "I'm sorry, but you promised us and these how many viewers we're going to get. We did not reach that. I'm sorry, but we cannot resign you. So long." So CBS didn't want that anymore. So I mean, the ratings don't lie. I mean, yeah, that's just my opinion. Um, but yeah, I'm excited that more of these Cup drivers are coming in to this series. I'm sure that will bring more viewers in. We get more of these big names like Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, of course. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those races. And as for the last piece of news, Landon Castle being part time next year in Xfinity, I feel really sorry for him, but at the same time, I you know I know this mainly deals with his main sponsor, Voyager, which is a cryptocurrency company. Apparently, they went bankrupt recently, and that's why he has a lack of sponsorship because of that. And that's my thing with these crypto companies, and I just avoid them as much as I can because they're just very shady, in my opinion. I mean, we saw the big news lately with this other crypto company. I think it's called FTX. I think. I mean, this was a big crypto company that had all these athletes endorsing it, like Steph Curry, Tom Brady. They were on the Miami Heat basketball arena as their main name arena, and apparently it was all fraud. So yeah, these crypto companies are just very shady. So if I'm any NASCAR driver, avoid them because that could happen right there. What happen? Go bankrupt or be a fraud. So, but I do feel bad for Landon Kessel too. I'm sure that number 10 car will be, Landon Kessel will make part-time starts with them, but I'm sure AJ Allmendinger will be making starts. I'm sure maybe like Austin Dillon may make starts, or maybe some other Chevy drivers make some starts. Justin Haley. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all my opinions on all the topics. That was a lot to talk about. So yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of news this week. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode. Matthew, do you have any other finishing thoughts before we go ahead and close this episode out?
Let's man, I'm still catching my breath. There's been a lot of news headlines lately. Oh, Kyle Busch with his new sponsor just released. Netspin. That paint scheme looks amazing. It's something different, it's pretty much all of his paint schemes so far have been black and a different color, like black and or orange, black and green, black and red. I'm sure the 3G car would be black and gold, while the NGM car was black and tan. Now this one's all bright colors. It kind of reminds me of the Miami Dolphins colors a little bit. So That's amazing paint scheme. Of course, he tested it at COTA with a Goodyear tire test. It looks amazing on track, and yeah, um, I know there's been a lot of Kyle Busch fans talking about, oh, look at that new sponsor, JGR. What's up with that? Um, all I'll say about that is, I mean, JGR's sponsorship model is very outdated, so they might as well change it up because you're not going to get a sponsor like M&M's ever again that sponsors 30 plus races or FedEx. So or like Hendrick Motorsports or HendrickCars.com or Ally. There's not a lot of those sponsors anymore, so you might as well change up your sponsorship model because it doesn't work anymore, JGR. Or you're going to end up losing Denny Hamlin too.
Yeah, if I have it still, I need to post like that meme or whatever that I sent you the other day about Kyle Busch fans when he gets a new sponsor at RCR. That was pretty funny. Um, but I mean, at least you don't have to like just have one sponsor gear now. I mean, well, he had M&M's, which was like M&M's, Snickers, Skittles, whatever. But at least you have a bunch of new sponsors that you can have different paint schemes, different gear, all that kind of stuff. So very excited for you to be able to get all that once the season starts. But let's go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts about any of this news in the comments below. It was a lot, but we love talking about it. That's why we brought it to you guys. But we'll see you guys in the next video.